So today we'll go through, sorry. Oh, hi. So this is the plan for today. So today we'll introduce each other so that we'll get to know more about each other. And after that, we have project pictures. So new members and also the continuing members will be presenting their projects. So if you guys are interested to join a project, please listen to them closely. And if you're like interested, if you feel like, okay, this is the project I wanted to do, then you can ask the project lead and try to join the project. And after that, we'll go through this semester plan for the club. And I'll get you through how to join the club and how to join the project groups. And we'll see overview of machine learning and so on. So let's start with the introduction. So I'm Niveta Balakrishnan. I'm the current president of the Machine Learning Club at SJSU. I'm currently doing my third semester in Masters in Data Analytics. And also I'm working as part-time as a research assistant in a biopharmaceutical project where I apply machine learning for drug discovery. Also, my hobbies are like going on a trekking. Yeah, I love to play badminton and I love painting and swimming. So also my other officers, they are excited to introduce themselves and welcome you guys to the club. So let's start with Ani.
Hey everyone, my name is Ani. I'm the vice president. I'm currently doing my master's in software engineering with a specialization in data science. When it comes to machine learning, I have a lot of different interests. I really enjoy natural language processing. I enjoy computer vision, and I also enjoy machine perception because I also have a background in human perception in terms of the cognitive science applications. And when it comes to my hobbies outside of machine learning, I really enjoy playing basketball, playing D&D, and also reading. So those are some of my hobbies outside of machine learning. Nice to meet everyone.
Yeah, okay. Vlad couldn't join us today. So Gautam, is Gautam there? Okay, I think he's not, yeah. Shaila, can you introduce yourself?
Okay. Hey everyone, my name is Shayla. I'm currently in my third semester doing my master's in computer science, and my favorite like topic within ML is probably computer vision. I think it's super cool. In my free time, I like to play tennis, go hiking, or also do some painting and drawing. Nice to meet everyone.
Thank you, Shaila. Anjali? Yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm Anjali. I'm pursuing my master's in artificial intelligence. I'm in my second semester. In AI, I'm really interested in computer vision, reinforcement learning, and the kind. I'm currently doing a little bit of research in dynamic systems and control with one of my professors. Apart from this, so in my free time, I love to read. So I read quite a lot, mostly non-fiction or fiction. I just love reading. Apart from it, I really enjoy like hanging out with friends, watching shows on Netflix and the like. So yeah, nice to meet everyone.
Thank you, Anjali. Rahul, please, you can come and introduce.
Hey guys, myself Rahul. I'm currently pursuing a master's in data analytics and right now in the second semester. So before coming here, I worked as a data and ML ops engineer back in India, and nice to see you guys here. So definitely we'll learn something here. Trust me. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul. Harisha?
Hi guys, I'm Harisha. I'm majoring in artificial intelligence, and I am into second semester. And in MLP, my area of interest is NLP and autonomous systems. And out of academics, it is something like I go on hike, hanging out with friends, like that. Yeah, happy to see you guys.
Just a second. Sorry. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Gaurav Koradia, and I'm pursuing Master in Artificial Intelligence. I'm a junior student, and I'm in first semester right now. And my area of interest is in MLOps, data science, natural language processing, computer vision, because I have worked as a data scientist and lead machine learning engineer as a lead data scientist at GE. And I love to play badminton, and I'm also liking the running. So nice to meet you guys. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Gaurav. So now we want you guys to introduce yourselves. So let's start from who wanna go first? Anyone from the Zoom?
I can go first.
Hey, Hayden.
Yes, I guess I can introduce myself. I'm a first-year computer engineering student with no background experience in ML, but I'm very interested in it and hoping to learn more through the club. So it's nice to meet all of you.
So while introducing, please let us know your hobbies as well.
I like to run servers in my meantime, mainly just like a network attack storage type stuff and Minecraft servers. So I've just invested in computers my whole life.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
Honestly, I just am very intrigued by machine learning, especially vision-related training models. I think they are just super awesome and mystify me in every way they work. So I'm excited to learn more.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. So anyone from the Zoom?
Hello, everyone. My name is Hobbies. I'm a third year student here at SJSU now. I'm on the transfer studying computer engineering with a minor in computer science. And in my free time, some of my hobbies are playing sports. I've been playing soccer for competitively for a while now. And aside of that, I like doing cycling, and reading is also another one of my hobbies. And I'm also really into cars, so I do some work on that, which is more like the mechanical side of things, but it's really enjoyable.
Nice to know about you, Virat. Guy? So anyone from the Zoom? I can call out names if you want.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, Jordan.
Okay, hi, I'm Jordan, and I'm majoring in business analytics, but I want to be a data scientist or data engineer. And I'm interested in computer vision and NLP. And some of my hobbies are basketball, reading, and working out. And nice to meet everybody.
Nice to meet you, Jordan. Next person from Zoom. Stephen. Or Batmavati. Oh, okay. Okay, she's first year computer engineering major and hobbies are playing Star Wars. Oh, that's cool. Awesome. Aryan? Utej? Can you please introduce yourself? I'm audible, right?
Yeah.
Gonzalo.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So thank you. I'm a third year electrical engineering student. And my hobbies are playing soccer and playing video games.
Oh,
I really like computers and I'm really into sensors. I think I talked to you yesterday about them.
oh,
That's pretty
okay.
much it for me.
Thanks for coming in today. So anyone else in the Zoom?
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hey, my name is Tai Nguyen, and I am a second-year master student in mechanical engineering. Even though I'm mechanical, but I'm very interested in machine learning. I have taken one machine learning course at SJSU. We did voice recognition. That is a very small project, and I'm looking to learn more um, from the club. And it's good to see all of you guys here.
Thank you for joining us today. Anyone from the Zoom? Did we left out anyone? Okay. I guess we can start introducing ourselves. Yeah.
And I'm on my friends in my nature to either software engineering or computer engineering.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming.
I'm Sarina. I'm a first year student in software engineering. My hobbies are I really like reading nonfiction and I'm planning.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Edith Prasna, doing my master's in mechanical engineering. This is my second semester. I'm very proud of the job we work in and we go the road with also, I'm doing a project based on a wildfire model based on reinforcement learning with the professor Ali.
Oh, that's
So my hobbies are playing badminton, basketball, swimming, and I think you all.
yeah. Interesting hobbies. Yeah.
My name is Ahmad. I'm a second year computer engineering. Some of my hobbies are working out. I love graphic design, so I do that most of the time. I'm also really interested in machine learning. I don't know anything about this.
Don't worry about it. Thank you. Yeah. Can you? Yeah.
So hi guys, my name is Yadu and I'm doing like software engineering. I'm in my first year, this is my second semester, and I worked in the like some R&D projects for 2 years related to AI and I'm here to learn from everyone, and if anybody wants some management projects or something that they can come up to me. And my hobbies are basically like chess and tennis, and like sometimes I go with my friends. I love to go with my friends to new places to eat, and like all the places.
Nice to know about you. Anyone who wanna go next? Yes.
Hi, my name is Ankit, and I'm taking my first semester of AI as master's. And before that, I was working as a data analyst in Generative Models, where I got a couple of machine learning models as well. And I also got few papers, complex papers as well. Other than that, I have my interested in doing.
Oh, that's great.
So I worked for a year at Uber Technologies and then so this is my first experience in the and my
Thank you. Right. Okay. Yeah.
First year student.
Lift up Gautam or outreach officer. Introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Gautam and I'm doing my undergrad at interdisciplinary engineering. I'm at my senior year. I've been working in this club since 2020. And besides that, I also working on my project at giving me a job, which I'll talk about it later. And besides that, my hobbies, like I play a lot of video games. But I mean, given my startup, I don't have time, but still I try to make time to play League of Legends. So if anyone is into League of Legends, I do play. Yeah.
Some people are interested in it.
Is it? Yeah, I used to skip classes, but not anymore. Not anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Gautam. So. Oh. Yeah, someone new. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Ali. I'm from Mechanical Engineering Department graduate. It's my third semester.
Okay.
And I'm working on master's project on fundamental learning.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for coming today. So now we have project pictures. So, Annie, yeah. So this project Feed Me a Job, they started in this very club before 1.5 years, and now they established it as a startup company. They are currently like getting resources from outside, and they are trying to make it big. So this is one of the interesting projects that inspiring too. You want to connect your laptop?
Yeah, I mean, it's just to show a demo. Yeah, that one's great. Yeah, we're looking for a demo actually.
Anjali?
Yeah, it's a public picture of this. Yeah.
Which one?
Oh. Hello everyone. So this semester I want to work on a project that is breast cancer classification from histopathology images. So like you guys might already know, breast cancer is something that affects a lot of women around the world, and it's way more common than we know of. And it's not just one kind of cancer that one can get. There are multiple, and the type of cancer that the type of breast cancer that you have depends on the specific cells, specific cells in your breast that actually become cancer. So invasive ductal carcinoma, that's IDC, it is the most common subtype of all breast cancers, and this is the subtype most people deal with. So how people work on like pathologists, how they determine breast cancer is by alienating the part of region that is cancerous. So in a huge whole slide image, whole slide images are really huge in data as well. So in a whole huge whole slide image, or what they do is they alienate the part of the breast that has cancerous, and they only focus on that part instead of doing the whole thing. So for this project, the first step, that is the pre-processing, would be to delineate this particular region from the whole slide images, which in itself is a task. So so the data set is found on Kaggle, to make our lives easier. And this is not the original data set though. So the original data set this is just a sample of the original data set, so that it becomes easy for us to compute. Because like I said, whole slide images are really data expensive. Like the original data set is upwards of like 100 GB, and it would become really difficult for us to process it. So this is just a sample that's on Kaggle. So like there are around 280,000 patches, and so yeah, so like you can also see the negative cancerous one are way more than the positive one, so we'll also have to deal with the imbalance in data. So yeah, so the goal here is to first would be to build a basic deep learning model that is able to classify all these positive carcinoma cases from the negative. And then after that, there's a lot of literature in this particular area, not just with breast cancer, but any cancer in general, that has a lot of new papers that are being released where they try to implement the state-of-the-art techniques. So I would ideally like to, after building a basic model that is actually able to differentiate between the two, I would like to implement the current state-of-the-art techniques in order to improve the accuracy and in order to improve the segmentation and classification ideally. So yeah, that's the project I want to work on this semester. So if anyone is interested, you're free to join me. Yeah, thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
Oh yeah, if you have any questions. Yes.
Is that using data from Kaggle? Are you able as like the next step, take real world data or
Yes, we could. So right now, Kaggle, like I said, it is an actual real world data which has been sampled to this Kaggle one. It is a real data, but it's just way smaller. We could ideally, like after getting a base model, and if something's working, we could experiment it on the whole data set. I think the whole data set is available on the UCI repository, so we can find that and we can use it. Yeah. So yeah, if you have any questions even later on, you can come down to me and ask. Yeah, thank you.
So I mean, we started off as a project, like just an NLP project, ideally just cleaning some job descriptions by removing stop words and doing matching with keywords. But as when we started seeing a real problem, like a lot of people not able to find the right job opportunities, like they were looking for roles, we decided to make this into a startup. So that's when we termed it as Feed Me a Job, and we currently like try to extract keywords from your resume and try to do a semantic matching with jobs from multiple job portals. So it's just beyond extracting keywords. So I mean, it's just a basic prototype.
Yeah, before he does, like, he's gonna set up some stuff, but I can explain a little bit more as well. So, you know, a lot of people, especially when they're not just here, but even in like community colleges, for instance, they don't know a lot of times what their skill sets can be applied for, right? And so, and sometimes, especially at those kind of places, like guidance counselors don't have that much time to give to students, or even if they do have time, it's hard for them to really give the kind of feedback that students are looking for. So really part of the motivation of creating this was to give students the ability to see, based on my skill set right now, what are jobs that I have alignment with. And, you know, I think that's really important because a lot of times people get intimidated just in the process of creating a resume. And I think people can relate to that, right? Like when you're trying to put a resume together, it's sometimes hard to tell, like, okay, what qualifies as like being worthy of experience and what doesn't. And so part of the motivation here was also to make sure that people could actually experiment with that. Like if they try different resume formats, they could see like, oh, okay, do I actually align better with a different type of job if I, you know, make my resume formatted in a different manner? So there were different like aspects of like why we wanted to do this, and that was one key aspect of why we wanted to do it.
I mean, also to add on, like the current job search engines like Indeed or LinkedIn, right? They do most likely are role based. So let's say you're going to search for Python or Kubernetes or something. It's going to just search for the job title as that. It's not really going to search based on the skill. So we're trying to do a skill matching rather than a role matching. So ideally your skills could be used for a different role as well on a different industry. So we're trying to have a broad reach of job opportunities.
So like how that specifically works is related to action words, right? So sometimes gets a little tricky, right? Because, people are like, oh, you have to have these keywords or things like that. But in an ideal world, it shouldn't matter what exact keyword you use to be able to match you with a job, right? Now, of course, this is no guarantee that the employer is gonna, be completely impervious to that. But at least from your end, you can see like, where do I find the most fit? And that's also important because, if you're just starting out, and I think this is especially true for people who maybe are like at the beginning stages of a job search process, right? It can feel really daunting at that point. And so to see like, oh, okay, I actually do have some level of match with this kind of company. Maybe I should look more into this sector or something like that. I think that's something that is really potentially very valuable for people to have.
And one last thing before I get into this, like when you apply for a job, apparently the company already knows that you got selected or not, but the system, but they don't send you a follow-up email, right? Like you get a rejection notice maybe after like 6 months. Like in my case, I applied for an internship at 2021 and last week I got a rejection notice. It was weird. I mean, so their ATS has already picked out the candidates, and it's not just skills, but I think the action words, what it matches. And since people fail to understand, right? Like within 1 or 2 minutes, you look at a job and you look at the requirements, the skills, and you just start applying for it, but you don't swap the keywords that is over there. And I mean, that's how the ATS works. So we are trying to use this in such a way that, at least it gives you an idea of what keywords you need to change, at least, for each job description, tailor your resume. It's just beyond skills. So at least you pass the initial check. After that, it's up to the candidate to take it up further. So this is a basic prototype. I'm just uploading a machine learning engineer's resume, and it's currently hosted on AWS. And we have some job descriptions scraped from Career Builder and Indeed, and it's an offline database, so it's trying to match among those. It's within only engineering field as of now.
But as we wait, like I think one of the other aspects that's interesting is also like doing market research into different fields. Which we've kind of started. We even started like right at the beginning looking into that.
Yeah, that's one part of like when you run a startup, right? They always want you to see who are all your competitors. If you just go and say we are the revolutionary product, they're just gonna kick us away. So there are quite some job portals like Simplify Jobs and Jobs Here. So we're just trying to differentiate ourselves from that, and we got the results. So these are the jobs that got matched from Career Builder site, and the top one which says 8 matches, it just says how many keywords match the most. And if for what it did not match, you also have a guide me feature which gives you skills that matched and that did not match. If the words are too intimidating, we also have a pie chart that gives you. So that gives you a tool of how to fix those. Another such option is like we are trying to integrate this within San Jose State University. So ideally, what we are trying to do is like if your class is offering any such skills, right, it will try to trigger you that if you have taken this class, probably you can add those project experiences, or if you are yet to take, if it's part of your curriculum, you can take it, or another way is you can also take it from Coursera or other e-course learning platforms. So we're trying to integrate both the sides of it.
Yeah.
So this is our prototype, and this is our upcoming demo, which will be out in like November is what we have targeted, but depends on how much we're able to pull it off. So ideally what a user would do is it's a web extension. So it's when you log into Indeed, it's going to pop up like this. And when you click around, right, it's going to show what kind of jobs that matched based on your resume. And the ones highlighted in green are basically, it shows how fresh the job is. Like if it's posted like 1 or 2 days back, apparently when a job is posted, they say, right, like within 5 days, they make their choices of candidates. So beyond 5 days, it's just living there. I think it's because of the federal rule.
Yeah.
So when a job is more than 5 or 10 days, then probably it's in orange and red. It is too old. And these numbers here on the side are basically they're saying how many skills matched. And if you want to look at the summary, you can always hover over it. It tells you what skills matched and what did not match. And let's say you like this job, and when you go over it, it's going to take you to the job page. And then it's the button over here, like it gives you a detailed analytics, like what keywords match. I think it's yeah. So it ideally tells you what keywords matched your resume and what did not match. The one in the oranges are basically stating that they're important. And it also underlines why is it important. And when you hover over it, it tells you what is it trying to say. So this is our upcoming beta. And we also have a career tracker feature where when you apply for a job, it will store your information and it will at least give you an opportunity to track if you passed or not. So rather than you creating Google Sheets, at least I know that some students over here, they apply for 500 jobs and they store it on a Google Sheet. So we are trying to automate this as well. So besides this, as part of our NLP model, we are trying to work with researchers from MIT who have their company called NewMind. So they previously did their research at Wolfram Alpha, and now they've started their own company. So we are currently partnering with them for the NLP. They'll be guiding us with the NLP models. And we also have another feature for which we have another YC company, Y Combinator company, who's going to help us. So basically, we want to have an auto filling application. So basically, you need not apply for the job. You just click the apply button and it will create an account on your behalf and it will apply on your behalf. Like as you must have heard, right? When you apply for Amazon or other jobs, it asks you to create an account in Workday or other ATS and ask you to fill information again and again. So we are trying to automate that by just having one account. And for that, we are trying to partner with this company called DevTools, which creates, it's a computer vision company that helps you detect all the elements on the screen without you inspecting, like how you would do a web scraping, right? You inspect for the element. So it helps you identify those elements without you looking at the code. And based on that, we would be able to fill information. So yeah, that's a short about us.
Yeah. That was a lot. But it's a whole journey. Like what you saw in our first alpha to like what we were trying in our beta, that was based on feedback we got from different people, like both like mentors and people in the market. Like it's a lot that goes into getting from one step to another.
Actually, if you look at the prototype, we use just PDF miner to parse the resume, but as we go on to the real beta, right, like it does not parse your experience. So let's say, you are just early career, but it gives you a senior job role. So it does not filter out the seniority. So we are trying to build our own resume parser using our own custom OCR. So there are quite a lot of learnings from where we started and where we are now.
The web, you guys had a feature for the web is that I don't know if we can set like how far to get to the job, like the distance, and then options for choosing remote, hybrid, and on-site.
Yeah, we have those filtering informations. We will be adding those filters. So it will help you prioritize which location are you looking for and what kind of job type are you looking for, like as you said, remote or hybrid or full-time. And also like once you get those matches, you can also prioritize based on your skills. Which skills do you want to emphasize most on? So based on the skills, it will give you, it will tailor your matches. Any question?
on Zoom. Anybody want
Yeah.
to have any questions?
Someone's on chat. How long? So we started off this. At like what last spring.
Yeah.
Last spring we were just like discussing how to do it because I mean every one of us are newbies, including him. So we narrowed down on this beta around like August.
Yeah.
August, October, and now we are here at the stage like pitching out, and we are also part of this Zen starter. So maybe for like 1 year, 1.5 years. I'd say 1 year at most. That was our real work time. Any other question?
So this would have a feature that like that's dogs and that tells you what you now.
Yeah, I mean
that's
that's
the-
one of the feature. If you see, right, when you get into the job, it immediately highlights what matched, and see the green one shows that it matched, and the orange is like
More important missing.
it's missing, and I mean it's not
It's
exactly
not
matched.
completely missing, but
Yeah.
it's not a perfect match. So
Something you might have some concurrent
you
word
can
or
see it
something.
says it's a 75% match,
Yeah.
which isn't bad, but it's not as strong. So yeah, we have been.
Yeah, we
doing
have those
highlighting
tools
of what's
because like,
specific.
as I mentioned, right, like when you apply for a job, within that moment you have passed the ATS check, it's just you don't hear it. And it's beyond the skill. It's not just, you see Python, C++ and go around. They do look at the keywords that matched. That's why they say, right, recruiters spend 7 seconds to review your resume. So the review is nothing but this keywords, how many keywords matched.
Like they get really good at scanning for them.
Yeah.
How would you guys find on like differentiating between like the senior roles and then
So it's parsing on the resume. Basically, we want to, in the resume, you have those experience section, right? We want to calculate those dates.
Yeah.
And based on that, that's why we are trying to build our own OCR based resume parser rather than what's out there.
Yeah, because we've seen like we try to detect the different open source options and
it's
they struggle with that part.
Yeah, this prototype is built on that.
Yeah.
That's why you see senior roles also being matched.
In the prototype, the data that our goal is to try to.
Yeah,
some of that.
our goal is to filter that out.
maybe like our own version of it?
Yeah, we're trying to bring our own version.
Yeah.
So like I have been using Simplify from like 1 month.
Yeah.
So like the differentiator is this like the keyword part.
Yeah.
Or like other differentiators are also mentioned. Because they also have this Chrome extension.
I know they also have an auto application feature.
Yeah.
But their auto application feature, it did not work on some websites, especially on some work days when I tried. It still gave some errors, but I know, I mean, they're still on.
Next, like if the question is same, are you a veteran? If something is there in that question added, then it will fail.
No, I'm not talking about the extra questions. With the existing questions itself, it does not add the information accurately. But still, I mean, they are still on the beta stage because I think they graduated from the startup accelerator last year. But one annoying factor I felt in Simplify jobs is they also try to do a matching. So what they want you to do for the matcher part is they want you to create an account and fill your information again and write all your skills, and then it'll give you recommendations, which most of the startup companies take the same approach. So we are trying to use resume rather than like you creating all the information again and again.
So are you planning to go with a website as well, like with the extension which has all the they also have some
Yeah, they have their own website. So I mean, website was our initial goal.
You could see that prototype as well.
But as we spoke to a lot of investors and like even the Career Center, we've been working with SJSU Career Center, they felt it's too intimidating to add another website.
Because I don't know if you've seen it, but like SJSU has a whole suite of like different things that you can already use. So adding one thing on top of that would be like if it was like a separate website would be probably also more difficult for students as opposed to something you can just immediately tack on and then use on all your sites where you're.
I mean, the important part of startup is like customer acquisition, right? So our ideal goal is to have a website, but it's not like today, tomorrow. First, we want to build a base. Only after we have a strong base, we can have our own. I mean, people will have trust, and you can have your proprietary website, but that will be a long-term goal. It's not immediate. Yeah.
Skill matching, like you said, keyword is a very common thing. Your resume and job description.
I think just briefly we can say that you're using different NLP matching models. So we've looked at various different models, right?
Yeah, transformers.
Yeah, we look at transformers. We've looked at different things. Really, it comes down to like. It also sometimes like we look at different things like ensemble learning as well, right? So like it's not always that one specific model will give you the best result. So it's been like we had to go through many different models and try to see what works.
Yeah,
better.
we were also trying NER. That's
exactly. NER was another big one we did. Yeah. So we've gone kind of long.
But our ideal goal is we want to build our own encoder.
Yeah.
So once we get some funds, that will be most of we'll be building our own custom encoder. Yeah. So then it'll be robust enough to do the matching. Yeah.
Right, thank you, everyone.
So the data is used offline data or you offline?
So these are all it's offline data. It's web script, job descriptions, and resume. So yeah.
For now, if you have any more questions, definitely come find us later.
Yeah.
We took a while, so we need to get through some of the other things. I also just want to let me not stop sharing. I do also just want to say, like, this is not at all the level at which any pitch needs to be. It's just because we've been working on this for a while.
It's beyond the
you
project.
can start. Yeah, this has become a bit of a longer term thing. So just please don't take this as something to get intimidated by.
Yeah.
It could be an inspiring
Yes,
project.
look at it as inspiration.
You could do, next could build a project, something like that. So now let's talk about the machine learning at SJSU. So what are we? We are a community of students who are excited and interested about machine learning engineers. Machine learning, just like you. And so in this community, we help each other, we support each other, and we give a comfortable place for you guys to thrive and to gain knowledge and skills required for, to be in the machine learning field. And we'll be providing you with the computing resources and also the workstation if you're doing the project. And our officer will be working hard to help in whatever help you want. So in this semester, we'll have a general meeting on every Friday from 10:30 to 12:30. So make sure you block your calendar during that time. And then we have a hands-on project. You can form a group and you can be part of a project group. And you can start doing the projects. Also, we have several technical events and ones like guest lectures, workshops. And we also have a study plan for you guys. So for guys who don't have previous experience, you can make use of it. And even though if you have some experience, you can gain more knowledge in ML. So this time we are trying to give a lot of practical knowledge from the help of people from industries. So you guys can really make use of it. And also we have social events where you can come and you can spend time with the people and get to know more about each other. So that's it's like kind of cool. So how you can join the ML community? So from this semester on, we have like 2 membership. So we have the first one is like project membership. Of course, if you want to do a project, you can join us as a project member. If you think you can't spend that much time, you can't commit time for a project, then you can be a general member. So if you want to be a project member, so at least you should spend 3 to 4 hours per week. Absolutely, it depends upon your level of expertise in the machine learning, but roughly around 3 to 4 hours per week should be enough for doing a project. And yeah, you'll be working in groups. So if you guys have any project idea, you can pitch your project next week and you can ask others to join your project. Or if you don't have any idea or prior experience, you can join other project groups and you can do projects with them. Yeah, so if you have your own idea, that's well and great. You can pitch your idea, and the main problem with that is data set. So if you could find a good data set, you can go ahead and continue with your own idea. Or if you don't have any data set, but still you wanted to lead a project, if you think you can have experience to lead a project, then you can look at the website in the Kaggle data set. So this PPT, we'll share this PPT with you so you can go and look at the Kaggle website for the data set. So I'm sure like many of you might have known about the Kaggle. So for whom, for those who are new, so this is a website, you can get a lot of data set from the website. We also have Kaggle competitions. So these are the ongoing competitions in the Kaggle, and yeah, if you could do a good project and if your model performs better, then you also can win the cash prize in the Kaggle competition. So it will be definitely very useful if you're looking at ML engineering role in the industry. Also, you can look at the code for any particular data set or any particular project. You can compare and you can analyze which model we could use or which approach we could take that is different from others, and still we can get improved accuracy and performance. Yeah, so if you're gonna be a lead, then you have to define like how you're going to approach your problem, and you also have to define your success metric. Okay, for this semester, this is our plan. So I think we have a project deadline on November 18. So November 18, you'll be presenting your project. So you should be aware of the time plan and the commitments that you need to do for the project. Yeah, so for those who are doing project, you'll be given access to the club workstation. So we have a workstation for us. So if you think you need more computing power, you can approach us, or even if you don't have space to save your data, you can use the club resources to do your projects. So you'll have project updates once in 2 weeks. So during those weeks, you can do a small presentation, or you can update in which stage you are, so that we can see if you're consistent over the period. Yeah, and project demo at the end. So for now, we fixed the date on November 18. So you'll be doing a project demo during that day. And yeah, you'll get feedback from industrial experts. So currently we are talking to people from industries to come up on November 18 and give feedbacks for your projects. So that's very valuable if you're gonna be in the machine learning field. Then I think the practical knowledge is very much important. You could learn algorithms and technical theoretical stuff is important, but more than that, you'll understand the machine learning when you're applying. So you'll face many problems when you're applying. So hands-on projects, it's one of the good way to learn machine learning. Yeah, if you want to be a project member, you should have one of these 3 things, like so you should be a previous member, of the club. If not, then you should have completed ML courses, either in online or in the university, or if you have industrial experience in ML as an ML engineer or industrial experience, that would be great. Otherwise, if you don't have experience and if you are new to the machine learning, then we advise you to do a trial project. So it's not that tough. It's very easy. It's doable even for the beginners. So you have to spend your time and energy to try to understand how it will be working and all that. So it's just to give a basic idea of how it's gonna be. So since you don't have experience, so trial projects is a good thing to start with. So the deadline for a trial project is next Thursday, is 22nd of September. So it's not a hard deadline, but please try to finish it before next Thursday, so that upcoming session will be talk more about the projects and stuff. So
I'll go over the trial project a little bit that way. People who might be wanting to have,
yeah.
Okay, so I probably told so many people about the trial project when we were cabling, but yeah, the trial project is effectively there to just make sure that people have some orientation if they don't have a background in machine learning, or if they're just getting used to even setting up a coding environment or something like that. So really the goal is just to make sure that when people get to the project team stage, they have some wherewithal to onboard with the team and things like that. So the important thing is this can be done by anybody. Like, we genuinely mean that. We do have some steps laid out, but like, as long as you can use the wonderful resources that YouTube can be sometimes, like, you should be able to find what you need. And so yeah, we mentioned the exemption criteria that's there, but yeah, we would like people to ideally finish it by next Thursday. That way, when you hear even more pitches next week, and we'll have our last pitches, I think, the week after that, you'll be able to decide if you want to join a team or not by then. And so, we'll be going over the project setup at the end. But as for the project itself, you have two main options. So one option you have is the main one that a lot of people do, which is using a Kaggle data set. So you first, you sign up for a Kaggle account, you join the Titanic competition, which, let's just open that up real quick. So yeah, this is a really well-known competition. As you can see, it's like 13,300 teams, or at least people who have joined this thing before. So it's been used by a lot of people, and really you're just doing, your evaluation metric is based on predicting if a passenger survives the sinking of the Titanic or not. Definitely not morbid, but like you get a chance to work with some data and develop some of those tools of doing some data inferences and things like that. And there's the video and tutorial that's related to that from Kaggle that you can also see. So we recommend that right at the beginning, at least, if you're just doing a trial project, you don't need to do your entire environment setup. So that's why we're mentioning or rather, I should say, your full development setup. You will still use either Jupyter Notebook or Google Colab. And we do recommend installing Anaconda or Miniconda, which is something we'll address at the end, just because there's a lot of other things to cover. But yeah, basically you're trying to predict survival data, and you compare with the given test results to see how well you did. And there's some optional options as well, but the goal is at the end you should submit your Jupyter Notebook or your Google Colab to the club email by next Thursday. You can submit it later too, but the reason we're saying to do it by then is also because we want you to be able to join the project teams, and we also have another deadline for the Career Center, actually. So we're doing a partnership with them. I'll cover this later, but basically it behooves you to get your project in by then, because if you also send us your resume, that will get included in a resume book that the Career Center is going to be sending to a lot of employers. So that's your incentive for getting the project done by then. And then, yeah, we do have another option if you don't want to do the Titanic competition. So you can just implement a simple convolutional operation. So this is for people who maybe haven't had this experience of like trying to build something from scratch. So you can see the stipulation is you're only supposed to use the NumPy library. And this is really an option we gave for people who maybe want to understand the theoretical aspect of how convolutional operation works more. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, we've given a link to a very useful resource from, I believe it's a Stanford course. And yeah, so basically you can do it in any coding language you want, but we do recommend Python. And then, yeah, if you send that to the email, same thing, we'll look over it. And then if you have that in by the 22nd, you also have that added bonus. So yeah, if you use any resources, please cite them in your notebook. That's just a good practice in general, but we do want to make sure that people are like following that. And other than that, that's basically the trial project. Does anybody have any questions about the trial project, either in person or online?
Yes, I had a question when you mentioned that if you do the first project, like your resume will be sent to the Career Center for that book. Does that also apply for the second project?
Oh yeah. I didn't spell it out clearly, but I said the added bonus for either of these, that's what I meant at least, is if you get it in by the 22nd and send your resume as well, that'll be in the resume book. So definitely try to get it in by then. Yes, yeah. That's true for general or project members too, which we're gonna cover a little bit more, like what general members are. But yes, that is true for anyone also. Like even if you're not doing the trial project, like you already qualify, we're gonna have a separate part about this on a later slide. But like send us your resume to the club email by the 22nd, and we'll be able to get that into the resume book. But yeah, thank you for your question. That's a good question. Anybody in person have any questions about the trial project? Okay, all right, cool. Let's get that. Yeah.
So say then, on the topic of AI photography.
We haven't decided on all of our topics yet. So we'll also actually have a form to allow you guys to tell us what you would be interested in, which we're going to have you guys fill out shortly. So that'd be something you should definitely mention there.
Yeah, so now if you think you can't spend like 3 to 4 hours per week, but you're still interested in learning machine learning, you're welcome to be our general member. So we have a lot of things that's going on the club, and you can attend meetings every week. You can attend our technical events like guest lectures and workshops. And yeah, we have a study plan this semester, so we'll be discussing ML algorithms and interview preparation as well. We are trying to provide mock interview this semester, so general member could take part in all that. And also, yeah, so we are in collaboration with Career Center, and so we are a member of SOP. SOP is like Student Organization Partnership Program. So we collaborate with Career Center, and we are allowed to participate in SOP events. Only the member of the recognized club. Machine learning is one of the SOP recognized clubs. So we and our members are allowed to participate in the networking events or career fair that's we conducted with SOP. So yeah, we have 2 upcoming events next week. I think we are having the events on the same day. So first is guest lecture. So he's a machine learning engineer from Google. So he'll be connecting with us next week at 11:30 a.m. after a general meeting. Right after a general meeting, you can either come in person or you can be attend in Zoom. And right after that, from 12:30 to 2 p.m., we have a networking event. So only the member of the clubs will be allowed to participate in the event. And so we have recruiters from these companies, Sherwin-Williams Enterprise, Veritas Technology, so and some more. I'm sure it will be really helpful for you guys if you come and attend this networking event.
Oh, no, that is an in-person event, so that's
Yeah.
the incentive for coming in person.
Yeah, so this is the networking event is in person. So yeah, if you wanted to be a part of the club and participate in the events, we advise you to submit your resume by Thursday, next week, Thursday, so that we can send out your resume to this career center. And if some employers, if they are willing to take people from our university, so we'll be given first preference for machine learning roles if you're the part of the club and if you submit your resume. Yeah. This event?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, it's happening in student union and
Guest lecture is here. Yeah, guest lecture
Oh,
is here,
yeah.
but yes, the networking event will be in student union. We'll all go together after.
yeah. So right now, do you guys have any questions? So, would this club count as an engineering club for engineering 10 credit? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, really sure about if you'll get the credits. No, no. Oh, it's not possible to get credits. Okay. Yeah, so if you're willing to join us, you can fill out this new membership form, and you can mention either if you wanted to be a project member or a general member. You can fill up this Google form and become our official member of the club. And yeah, we also have a LinkedIn page, and we also have an Instagram account. You can follow them for the updates. I mean, Instagram is more active, so you can follow Instagram and get the updates. Oh, yeah. So this is the new members form. You have a question? Yeah. So you can mention your year and your experience, and if you want to be a project member, general member, and if you have any area of interest in the machine learning, you can mention that too.
Is a link posted somewhere either on the chat or on Discord?
Oh yeah, I'll post it on the chat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah.
Thanks.
We can ask them to fill up the form right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even people in person, we definitely recommend you just take a few moments to fill this out. I know that some of it might be a repeat of what you filled out as a fair form, but the reason we had that separation is because we want to make sure people who join us for the meeting, just give us a little bit more information. That way we can figure out some of our plans for like what we're going to cover in our general meeting, things like that. So yeah, let me share it on this.
So guys, please take a few moments to fill out the forms. Okay, so as I assume you guys filled out the form. So now we'll go through some basic machine learning stuff to give you an overall idea of the machine learning on the subfields. So yeah, Shaila.
Hey, yes, so I'll start with some basic overview of like traditional machine learning. Fundamentally, there are like two main categories of machine learning techniques. You have supervised which will train on labeled data and unsupervised training on unlabeled data. So for labeled data, you have your data set that will have mapping values where certain data are mapped to a specific category. So for example, a spam filter is an example of supervised classification task where if you have like a set of emails that's marked as either spam or not spam, we can train on that labeled data set to have a model that can in the future predict incoming mails as spam or not. And for unsupervised learning, the goal is to find certain patterns in the data or explain like features of the data. So that's for clustering. For example, if you have a set of data on online purchases and then you have the buyers demographics, you can figure out which type of people, where they live, their age range, are likely to purchase a certain product. So that's where the sort of clustering comes in. You don't really have any labels on these purchases, but then by projecting them on like a higher or on a lower dimensional features, you can kind of extract more meaningful data and then sort of group them based on, for example, if it's projected in like this 2D clustering plane, you can kind of group them based on the 2D distance. And there are a lot of cool stuff you can do with traditional machine learning. So feature extractions, which I've kind of touched on, and where you can kind of extract that, where you have a lot of, unfiltered data. So you can extract out very meaningful features that are like easier to process, faster to process. Same with dimensionality reduction. You can reduce the dimensionality of your data, get rid of like columns. So when you have like trained models, you can use techniques to optimize the hyperparameters to kind of get the best model that you can get. So, and we also can have recommender systems using traditional machine learning. These are like super big on like the web, where you get recommended a lot of movies or TV shows based on your like past interest and based on your like how you rated them in the past. So for like Netflix and like a lot of e-commerce sites, they use a lot of recommender systems to provide like the sort of best experience for you. And also we have Ensemble Learning, where you can train like various models that will give you predictions, and then you can kind of combine them, and then in an ensemble it will always choose what sort of like the best model out of them. So you'll always get the most optimized combined model. Yeah. And I guess for traditional machine learning, the main difference between this and deep learning One of the biggest thing is that traditional machine learning, you can train on smaller data sets. So if you have less data, you could use a lot of traditional techniques and achieve pretty good results. And they're also, I guess, more simple and less costly to train compared to like deep learning, where you would need like a lot of data to train your models.
Yeah, great point, Shaila. It's true that traditional machine learning is what you often cover in your first ML classes. But there's the important reason to know those is there's still a lot of use cases for these, and especially in industry, as Sheila was mentioning, it's often more cost prohibitive to do something like deep learning. So, you don't want to over engineer something. If you can get the the solution from applying traditional machine learning, there's no reason you shouldn't apply it. And so that's just something that's important to keep in mind sometimes. So we don't have a resident reinforcement learning expert today, but we will make do because I've seen Vlad do these slides a couple times. So reinforcement learning is kind of like the counterpart to unsupervised and supervised learning, in that you have an agent who's learning in an environment. So you're very much moving away from this model where you're giving the data to the model and then it's doing classification regression tasks or something like that. And so the AI or agent, somewhat similar to a human, learns through trial and error, right? And that is a very human way of learning. So what the agent does is it looks at the state of the environment, and then based on the action it performs, it'll get feedback on what kind of action that was towards its goal, basically. So usually do define some sort of goal. So for example, if you're thinking about a robot that you are trying to have navigate to a certain point in a building, right? You can tell it, okay, this is where you need to go, but you're giving it no instructions. So it'll have to figure out, maybe using the sensors it has, to not go straight for the wall and maybe start going in that direction. But initially, it might not have too much orientation about how to do that. But based on some of the feedback it gets, both from bumping into something and the distance metric that it would probably have that you would give it, it would start getting better at actually navigating towards that final goal state. And this is used for a lot of practical applications. So a really good example of that is, in recent times, though it's a bit farther back now, is Alphago, of course, which was pretty, I'd say, if you're looking at the past decade of AI and ML developments, is definitely one of the more significant ones, and one that got a lot of attention, because Go was thought to be a type of game that would not be possible for AI or machine learning to be able to beat humans at, because of the very unique playstyle it had. But DeepMind, developed AlphaGo and actually beat the world championship at the time, the current world champion at the time. And since then, they've produced way stronger models too. So AlphaGo loses terribly to those models now. And of course, there's also a lot of application in self-driving cars. So, and that's obviously a lot of people think of Tesla, but there's a lot of startups as well that have been in that space. So there's a lot of applications for reinforcement learning. There's also applications in terms of getting to remote parts of the world where maybe it's hard to send a person. So, especially if you're trying to do some sort of rescue operation or things like that, that's where a lot of reinforcement learning could be used as well. So yeah, this example over here is a pretty odd one. So basically, the flailing thing you see on the left there is some sort of agent that hasn't been told how it's supposed to navigate in the world, but it's been told that it should navigate in the rightward direction. Now you see that the final solution it ends up coming up with after enough trial and error isn't necessarily the most optimized version. I mean, it's not using all four of its legs properly. It's really just doing this weird two-leg thing, but you know, just because you give like certain rewards and things like that doesn't mean an agent will always pick up on the exact right way to do it. Speaking of, you can see it's a very amusing technique it comes up with. It's just been told that it needs to be able to navigate the space and, you know, be able to clear those gaps. But it's decided that the hand effects are really necessary to be able to make that leap. But it's definitely amusing to see. Now, that shouldn't scare you too much. Like, that's not how models for self-driving cars should work, at least. So, you know, it is able to do some more precise control, like we see here with balancing rocks. So there are various applications for it. And then, yeah, this is like another example. So you can also apply it to things like games. In fact, Vlad actually worked on a project where he did that for Minecraft using MineRL. Like, that was a very cool project that he worked on quite a while back now, actually. But yeah, you can see basically this agent has been told that it needs to land between the two flags over there, and it does eventually navigate its way. So it's pretty cool to see. Yeah, and now I'll hand it off to Harisha.
Hey, hi. So coming to NLP. What is NLP? It is we providing the ability for a machine to understand human language. Kind of like NLP acts as a bridge between like humans to interact with the machines, either through voice or text in other formats. So where are the different applications NLP is integrated into? Knowingly or unknowingly, we use NLP in our day-to-day lives a lot. For example, like voice assistants, Siri, I think like most of us use it. So that is somewhere like voice to text generation where it understands, kind of like it is combination of two, voice to text generation as well as question and answering format. So we ask something and that will respond to us according to the question which we have asked. And there are like many smart assistants like chatbot, another text to text where we ask for some information. For example, take an Amazon. We have ordered something and we wanted to have assistance with respect to the order. So the immediate assistance that we get from is with a chatbot, which is an automatic machine teller, where we get the information like whether what is the product review, or like we are satisfied with the product, or whatever the concerns are, the basic information about the product that we need to interact with. Beyond that, if we need to have more information apart from the assistant that is provided, then we will be connected to the customer care. So, and the next important application where we come into is autocorrect and autocomplete. Take any browser. We click on like how are. It will automatically give you multiple suggestions on how to complete it. Like what could be the next word based on the word inputs which you have provided. The other one is autocomplete. Autocomplete is one thing. Autocorrect. Like we keep on typing like information. There are chances that high chances of getting into human errors with respect to spellings or whatever it is. So Grammarly is one tool, paraphrasing tool, or like autocorrecting tool, which will automatically correct the spellings and the phrases of the sentences which we put in. It is something like all these applications, NLP is the background which is running on. And coming to sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis is something where everyone is aware of, like movie reviews. Immediately once the movie is launched, we would like to check on the reviews to watch it or not, most of them. So how do we get that immediately? Because the movie can be released all over the world. we need to have the reviews from everyone. So based on the words that each individual user inputs, based on that, whether it is positive words or negative words, based on that, we will have the movie review ratings on a scale of 0 to 5 or whatever it is. Next important application with respect to NLP is business analytics. This is somewhere NLP is playing a major role. I think most of us have seen Power BI tools, Tableau, Microsoft Teams, visualization kind of things. So one way of getting data into visualization is using SQL query language, where we fetch the data from the database and we write according to the visualization tool what we need, and we showcase that in the visualization tool, either Power BI or Tableau. So the other methodology which can be used is, instead of having database access and SQL, we can run a natural language processing behind the scenes. So what it does is, we can request, like, for example, I have a data set with all the stocks, with all the products, everything in a financial organization. I would just ask, like, can I have what is the latest update of this particular product? So it will give me in all possible graphs like pie chart or histogram or whatever is requested, it will automatically give me the visualization of all those using the base NLP models. That is one thing. And Teams, Microsoft Teams, at least in Power BI and Tableau, we do have that opportunity of customizing our visualization using SQL. But in Microsoft Teams, it is inbuilt. So the Kanban boards or the Scrum boards, whatever we have, work down, breakdown structures or whatever it is, when we input a work into an order, automatically we will have it replicated in the visualization tool telling that I have 2 pending works and 3 are done and 4 are in QA or whatever it is. So all these technology that is behind this is NLP. So indirectly or knowingly or unknowingly, in most of the applications in our day-to-day life, NLP is playing a major role. And let us look into a demo. I hope everyone see my screen.
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah. So I'm going ahead with the previous example itself. So what we have taken. So yeah, can you guys tell me any sentence?
We could do the first one first. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
The quick brown fox
jumped over the lazy dog.
So I'm going to generate a text with a specific length. So
wow.
This is something which we get with respect to the sentence which we have provided. Similar to that, like continuation of the sentence which we have provided. And we can increase the length. This is something where we can, we have control over the length of the sentences too, how much I wanted it, how much length the sentence has to be, something like that. And the other feature over here is you can include some keywords which has to be present within the generated text so that those generated, the keywords which you are giving will be provided in the generated text as well. Something like this. We can customize like the models according to our needs, whatever is required. And one main thing which I wanted to share is we being machine learning engineers in future, even now, what I would suggest is instead of just like that creating models, we would need to analyze the scenario. What is the need and like the business purpose of that particular scenario? What is it costing business? Whether we are really generating revenue or is it going to like automate something Is it going to reduce the work, the amount of amount of time which we are spending on one particular task, so that implementation of NLP is gonna like automate few things, something like that. Please have an analysis of that and get into any scenario.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, it's not something you have to consider in every project you do, but it is good to start having that orientation. If you could stop sharing screen, Harisha, I can.
Yeah, once again.
I can actually share. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to be going over generative adversarial networks, or GANs as they're more commonly known. It's mostly an unsupervised approach, though it does have some label data, which can get a little interesting. But the reason that's the case is you have two main things working together. So you have the generator, which is trying to produce as good of a fake image of something as possible. So in this case, that's a dog, for example. And then you have a discriminator, which tries to look at both the real images that are labeled and the fake images that were just created by the generator. And it tries to discriminate, okay, is this a fake image or a real image? And it classifies all of these outputs. And over time, the discriminator gets better at trying to, the discriminator is pretty much where it is, but the generator gets really better at producing more hyper, realistic images. And the goal is eventually that it'll start creating images that are so realistic that, a discriminator weren't able to tell that it's a fake image. And sometimes even a human might have a hard time telling. And so really, there are a lot of applications of this. One of the biggest applications that you guys might be aware of is deepfakes. So of course, this is true not just for images, but also for videos. And we'll kind of be discussing that a little bit more, but I think this is a helpful illustrative example, which this take a bit of time to load, but as the website title suggests, this is not a real person. This person does not exist. And if you keep refreshing this page, you'll keep getting more very high resolution. I mean, you can just, let's see how high resolution we're talking here. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty high resolution photo, which is completely artificially generated. And this is implementing GANs, and it's a pretty cool paper. I would recommend checking it out. It was released in 2019. But this just gives you an idea of like what you can apply something like a GAN to. And so I do want to take a quick aside to talk about generative models, because GANs are a type of generative model, and they're probably one of the first ones that really popped off like in the early 2010s, around 2013, 2014. But in recent times, what you guys might have heard of is something called DALL-E 2. So this actually just got released into beta earlier in July by OpenAI. And it's not quite a GAN, but it is a generative model. And there is some through line that you'll see, like to this idea of GANs being, or generative models in general being AI's way of imagining things. So, this is an example of the kind of prompt that was given to the DALL-E 2 model. So in the first instance, it was told an astronaut is riding a horse as a pencil drawing, and this is the output it gave. And then the next output it was given was the same thing, but in photorealistic style, and it produces a pretty uncanny and very, like, there's no way, I mean, if somebody tried to create this picture in real life, that would be quite the feat. So, this is, but the fact that it's able to do this, and this doesn't do it quite justice, but like if you look at some of OpenAI's Twitter threads that they've done, they've taken different inputs. This is what I was throwing shade at earlier, because they are getting into beta, but like it's still pretty hard to get access. But like a lot of the details in particular, like the way that they've been able to make reflections work really well, even if you do multiple prompts with like the same astronaut. it's able to map those kind of things really well, which I think is the most impressive thing. Like the fact that it has semantic consistency to at least a much higher level than a lot of other generative models have is, I think, pretty cool. And so what it actually uses instead of GAN is like diffusion models and contrastive learning, image pre-training. But that's getting more into like the cutting edge of deep learning. So that's not something we're going to get into like immediately, but it's just something that's cool to know. So this over here is coming back to GANs, an actual application of GANs that is different than something that's visual, though it does technically translate it to something visual and then create this. So basically, if somebody spoke in front of a camera that was recording for a couple minutes, in the course of that time, they would say enough different phoneme sounds, like different, vowels, consonants, those kind of things, to, be able to like take different sound bites and stitch that together to create entirely different texts. And so that is a way in which you can actually apply GANs to create kind of deepfake videos. But these are different kinds of deepfakes because you're also, yes, you're also changing the facial structure, which is again using the same idea, but just with the video. But yeah, you can kind of see for yourself how that looks. So I'll skip ahead.
What else is there to do in this domain? Are we done? No, not at all. Hold on to your papers, because with this amazing new technique, what we can do is look at the transcript of a talking head video, remove parts of it or add to it, just as we would edit any piece of text, and this technique produces both the audio and the matching video of this person uttering these words. Check this out.
Apple stock price at $191.45 per share. Right. The market closed today with Apple's stock price at $182.25 per share.
It works by looking through the video, collecting small sounds that can be used to piece together this new word that we've added to the transcript. The authors demonstrate this by adding the word fox to the transcript. This can be pieced together by the V, which appears in the word viper, and taking ox as a part of another word found in the footage.
So yeah, that just gives you a quick idea of like another application of GANs, which can be used to create something that, aside from nefarious purposes, could also be used to perhaps, let's say you had a meeting recording, like maybe the one we're doing now, and you wanted to clean it up a little bit. Maybe you use a lot of filler words. You could use it for something innocuous like that as well. So yeah, the final thing we'd want to direct people to is some of our resources. So I'll be going through the setup just a little bit, just so that people who don't have an environment setup can look at that. But these are, we're going to post the slides, and we have some other things here as well that are useful. So we have a high-level summary, which we'll be going over some material from this workshop series that we had in the past, but it just gives you a little bit more of an idea of like what machine learning is. We have a brief Python tutorial in case you haven't used Python much or you want to brush up. And of course, we have the child project guidelines, and then a Docker and PySpark intro, which you don't have to use either of these, but it's just there in case you're interested. But yeah, I'll quickly go over the setup. So we do recommend that people at least install Conda, like mini Conda, even if they're not installing Anaconda, because it's really useful to, let me go to the slideshow. It's really useful to, use it both as an environment manager and a package manager, because especially if you start taking different courses, this is another great way to like handle that instead of having everything on your base environment, because you don't want to run into a situation where like, oh, I have to have Python 2 and Python 3, and it just can become a mess sometimes if you're doing that on a base environment. So yeah, the great feature of this is creating isolated environments, and it also auto installs dependencies, which is really clutch. You don't have to spend a lot of time going on different documentations trying to figure out what you're missing. So yeah, you just need to go to this website, download the corresponding installer. And we do recommend creating a specific environment, not working on your base environment. That's the whole point of doing this. And then yeah, you should definitely install at least scikit-learn, matplotlib, Jupyter, Pandas. These are just really useful Python libraries that are related to machine learning and data science that you'll probably end up using in whatever project group you end up joining, or at the very least, could be, some of these will be useful for your child project if you're doing that. And then, yeah, you could also install PyTorch, but this is not necessary depending on the project you end up working on. You may or may not use PyTorch, but we have some of the links for that. And then, yeah, at the end, you can just verify that you're able to run the Jupyter notebook and, see if you can import Torch as well. So it's pretty quick. As I said, oh, was I not sharing? Okay. We'll post the slides for this. So yeah, we're pretty much at the end of our club meeting today. Thank you for everyone who was able to stay with us. We will now be transitioning to having our social. So for everybody who was online, thank you so much for staying with us and joining us. If you have any questions, definitely send them in chat right now or reach out to us on Discord. And then for people in person, you're welcome to come talk with officers. We're going to be heading to the tower lawn to, just hang out, do some activities, and hopefully get to know each other a little more. All right. Thank you, everyone.